Hello and welcome back to another video, and in this video it's just a quick and easy way to make a finch nesting cylinder. I've picked up these two items from my local hardware store that you would use to plant a certain creeper or have something for added support that you want to climb up on a wall. So these are like little semicircle cylinders that are in the garden section. And it's just a nice and easy way just to put it together. There's not much else to it. I'm using some zip ties, 4 zip ties in fact, just to connect it all up, and then we'll trim them off and pretty much it's ready to go. And this material, obviously it's made out of wire, but it's got like a black plastic type wrap around it, so it doesn't rust. It can withstand many different weather conditions, I think, and when it comes to cleaning it, it's very easy. Once you remove the brush or the grass or anything you have in there for the finches to nest in, you can simply just soak it, hose it down, scrub it with a brush or a sponge, and let it dry, and then it's ready to go again. So that's why I quite like these, because I've done some comparisons where yes, I could buy a bigger roll of mesh that has these sort of gaps for the finches to go into and make nests from, but originally it's quite expensive, I find, and sometimes for me it didn't make sense because I wanted to have these more compact units that I can have in aviary and I can easily pick up and place. So the finches, they do like variety, so it doesn't matter what sort of size cylinder you use, but I think if you've got a bigger one, it's good because there's more nesting areas. And as we can see here, just nice and trimmed off with the zip ties, so you could have it of course horizontally or vertically. And I normally just use like hooks in the aviary where I can just hook it up and easily remove it, and then it's done. So I'm just going to show you a couple of examples how I do things. First one here is the seeding grass that I find in some areas where they grow really tall. It's a really good option just to dig them out or pull them out. Any sort of grass will do, I think, but yeah, originally obviously it goes in fresh and then it will dry up over time, but the finches do get into there, and I like to sort of poke a few holes in the sections where they may want to go into, and they'll actually form their nest themselves. They'll actually go in there and start making a dome, an oval shape where they feel comfortable, and sometimes it's from the front or it's from the side, and a lot of times you cannot find it where the nest is until you really inspect it. So here, as I'm just making a few holes. So it gives you a bit of an option, because in these cylinders, like I said last time, and you've probably seen a lot of videos in the past where I use different types of grass, maybe some different branches from different trees, and some are better than others, but yeah, you want to give them some variety so they're not going to get bored. And there's another one coming up here, so I'm going to give you another example of maybe going and getting some clumps of tree branches that will support the nest a bit better, so they're not going to sort of fall apart a bit more. Sometimes the grass does tend to sink down a bit, and there might be 1 or 2 nests and then it sort of drops down, but a good thing about it, you can just replace it whenever you want. So in this one I'm just putting a few clumps of branches that I've found, and I'm not sure what variety of this tree is, but I know that it's going to hold together a bit better than the grass. And we can see here I'm just feeding it through, and I'm not worried about presentation at all. It's just a matter of just trying to give them some options to nest that we can see here. Whenever you see a gap like that down the bottom, sometimes I like to put maybe some branches down right on the bottom section, and I might put a bit of grass in there too, so they can actually find that spot that they may like. Just like that, shove a little bit in there, maybe shape it a bit for them so there's a bit of a dome area there as well. So you probably really want to get some plants that are not going to crumble once they dry and then become pretty empty, because then obviously the nest will fall apart. You want something that's going to hold together quite well even when it's dry. And yeah, I just do a bit of a trial and error. I find certain plants sometimes that I might think could work and then they don't, or they do work. So you can just pretty much put it that way or that way, turn them around, spin them around, whatever options you may have. And you might have an aviary that's a lot smaller, but or larger, so you can get different sizes. But yeah, hopefully this gave you some ideas of how to make nests, and we'll see you next time in the next video.